Hey all, we're at the Daytona Xfinity race. Um, we qualified, I think, sixth. So yes, it was the Xfinity setup. Remember that other, the ARCA race. It was the Xfinity setup that I am really fast qualified sixth, which is great. I am leading. I've been leading, I don't know, like lap 5 or something. And my goal here tonight is to try to maximize the speed of this setup. Maybe give me a clue as to how to make it even faster. Being smooth and precise is key. The AI cars are very slow. They run 310 gears, fourth, so they're running 310. I'm not running 310. My third gear is a 307, which I shift to fourth to get. So I do first, second, fourth, third for better restarts. See, they're kind of closed up with a good draft now. I got a full load of, well, actually, I have like 3/4 of a load of fuel because I can make 30 laps or is it 27 laps easily. So we have what? Just like 36 laps of fuel, because 26 is a little bit less. I could have made it, but you never know. So we started out a little bit faster. I loosened it up a little bit. And I'm kind of pushing the envelope. Now, bear in mind, one of the difficult things is figuring out or practicing offline at a super speedway is look how far back they are from me, right? There's a lot of cars on track, so it compensates a little bit. But for the most part, if you don't have somebody on your bumper, with 3 or 4 guys behind him, it's hard to get to the speeds that you really need to be. Like, in a race, I'd definitely be like 200, entering the turn. 203, with everybody closed up behind me, but I'm not. So I have to kind of guesstimate, a little bit. And the setup entering here was rock solid stable and really fast. It's doing a lot of things that I like. It's beautifully drivable, and I'm sort of starting to screw it up a little bit. But essentially, the less rolling resistance you have, I'll give you some general, tips, super speedway setups. The less rolling resistance you have, the faster you'll go. The better aerodynamics you'll have, the faster you'll go. But can't really do much about that. The looser the setup, to a point, the faster you'll go. There's a lot of aero involved with super speedways, and the Xfinity car has the least amount of downforce. So if it had, it's kind of weird because the package that the game is simulating, if I remember correctly, this is 2019. This is, the horsepower in the Xfinity car was more than the Cup car at the time. But the Gen 6 Cup cars, on a super speedway, cut through the air. Even though they had more downforce, they cut through the air better overall than an Xfinity car. The lack of downforce tended to hurt the Xfinity car. they don't do such a good job of recreating that aspect of it. The general feel between the 3 Series and the Super Speedways is kind of neutral. You just feel too slow in the truck. A little faster in the Xfinity car, and I don't know, Cup car is weird. It feels fast and slow. It's, you know, but like I said, there are things you can do. So I loosened it up. I got a really good balance on this setup, and I loosened it up. And I seem to have picked up a 10th, which is cool. It's not that, you know, it's not dramatic. I mean, but a 10th can be the difference between clearing somebody and not clearing somebody when you're trying to pass. So I also see we kind of picked up a mile an hour of speed early in the run. Now, one of the things I really like about my Super Speedway setups is they get faster as the run goes on. So my goal with all the other setups is to be like this, to know that you got the fastest setup right before you got to pit. So if you have to take it all the way down to the wire, you know you got the best car under you. And with handling as well, you got to drive them differently. You know, I mean, in a way it might be like driving on the highway, and to me it is, but it's driving on the highway at 200 miles an hour. You don't drive the same as you do at 55. You know, everything you do is magnified, every move you make, everything. If you hear the gas leaving out front here, I don't lift. No reason to lift at all. We got 29 laps of gas, 18 laps in the tank. 18 laps to go, 28 in the tank. So I don't need to save nothing. It's just a pure exercise in speed. You see me drift up here? Yeah, that cuts a little bit off, but I'm looking at the speed, and by keeping the car in front of the car behind you, you keep that air bubble of him pushing you. Which can be critical. You know, a lot of guys I know do the cut to the inside off the turn 2 to break the draft, and that can work. But if you're by yourself and he's got a group of guys, it doesn't work so well. Better to stay in front of him and have him push you. You know, because yeah, he'll draft up to you, but at the same time, he might not be pushing you as far forward as he's catching up to you, but you're at least splitting the difference, you know, to a large degree. So you have more options, you know, when he gets up to you. Unfortunately, you know, like this kind of racing, it's easy to block because the cars are going so slow, and it might not seem that way, but yeah, they are. Leader is always the slowest car on the track in these things when he's got it wide open. Even. It's all aero related, a lot of math. But bottom line is, you just know how it works. You don't need to know the details of it. So see, I'm in front of him. I got my nose, his nose behind me. Look at that, 199. Let's see. I'm always a little slower. It's one of the things I'm working on, is I'm always a little slower off of 4. Not really off of 4, but through the tri-oval here. I want it to always be 196, maybe even get it up to 197. But I have to settle for occasional 198 and 1 so far. Which is cool. We've got it up to 194 off 2 consistently. or at least, you know, it drops down to 193, but then pops right up once we get out of the transition. The transition is, see, we're in the turn. Here's the transition. It starts at Daytona when you see the heights of the banking change. The right side kind of stays the same, and the left side flattens out. That's the transition. That is a critical piece of real estate at most tracks, Daytona included, because when you lose the banking, you use a little bit of cushion for handling. So traditionally, one of the things that, going back to 1959, that everybody deals with here is you get tied off for it, because right, you know, at the transition, car don't want to turn. If you follow the Dale Jr. Download podcast, racing interviews, Dale Jr. explained it. One of the things that the RCR cars figured out in the 80s, and why they were always so good, always had such good super speedway cars, is Earnhardt noticed that everybody would get tight off the 4. And he's like, if we can figure out how to not be tight off 4, I can pass people when no one else can pass, because they just can't hold it down on the yellow line. And that's why the old line is not down on the yellow line, except in the tri-oval maybe, but it was higher up. Mainly because you couldn't run down there. Your tires didn't have the grip. There was not enough aero. Remember, you had negative aero, negative downforce in the 80s on these cars. Not these cars, but, you know, the old cars. And so you're just like four-wheel sliding in the turns, going 200 miles an hour, 210 entering the turns. Kind of like a real loose setup in Michigan kind of thing. And that was tough, you know, so just hanging on to it was a big deal. But you get tied off 4. And you were so loose the rest of the place, that wasn't a big deal. But because you got tight, you couldn't run on the bottom. Anyway, so they figured out by using a little bit of an aero deal underneath the front of the car, not a splitter, but managing the air under the car, that aerodynamically helped the car, the nose, stick at that side of the track. And if you watch Earnhardt over the years, he made a lot of passes, especially in the late 80s on, by being right on the guy's bumper and getting right here and just turning it left like that. And now he's under him. And he's got the shorter way around, so it gives you that advantage. So all you got to do is, you know, stick in it. And, you know, you can't do things like that. That'd be cool if we could, you know, get that detail, you know. Part of it is, you know, cutting the air out at certain parts. I think they use an extra wide oil pan under the engine, which, you know, also helps. Then they talk about stuff like that in Days of Thunder. Because these are things that, you know, these are real things that you built the cars from scratch. And you can, how you built that car can make a huge difference to how it ran. Waddell Wilson was on talking the other day about the 28, the Gray Ghost, and the Gray Ghost and the Pontiac Ventura and such. And he's like, you know, in the late 70s, early 80s, you know, they were the car to beat. You know, both with Buddy Baker and Bobby Allison behind the wheel. And he's like, I always looked at these guys. Everybody was always paranoid building the cars, putting the bodies on with tire rub. So you didn't want tire rub because it's a little tire rub at 200 miles an hour. You got a blown tire and you could have a killed driver back then. So they were all crazy about the tire rub. So he figured a way out not to have to flare the fenders, because they'd flare the fenders. A lot of times you see them, you know, I'll take an aluminum baseball bat, softball bat, And you know, during a race, when they got fender damage, and they'd stick it between the tire and the fender, and they'd pull the fender out. Now, on the later cars, that added downforce, especially at the shorter tracks, that, you know, NASCAR kind of changed the rules on how you can, you know, modify the bodies during the race. But there's always things like that going around the garage. And when they used, you know, full sheet metal instead of mainly carbon fiber and most of the bodies, there was a lot more room for teams to, you know, play around in those areas. So he had straight sides, and that helped the car cut through the air faster. And we fast forward to the next, you know, there was evolution, you know, a little bit more horsepower each year, a little bit better aerodynamics each year. The body styles changed, but they realized some of the older styles were better, like the chopped windows weren't as good as the T-Bird gradually sloped windows, and so GM came out with their Monte Carlo SS Aero Coupes and the Pontiac 2+2, and then when they switched over to the Luminas and the Regals and Cutlasses, they put that sloped window as part of the, you know, the design. They called it a greenhouse, you know, but it was for aero. It helped you on the street too. You got a little bit better gas mileage for less rolling resistance, but, you know, not that much. But, you know, it worked. And then an amazing thing happened in 1993. Sterling Marlin shows up, Kodak #4 Chevrolet. I can't remember his team name. I could picture his crew chief, but I can't remember his name. But they brought this car that the sides of the car were completely smooth, and they went about 4 inches lower to the ground, so they cut a lot of the air out. And I'm looking at Sterling in 94. Anyway, it was the year that Sterling and Earnhardt fought for the Daytona 500 win. It might be the year that, it might be 94, because Sterling won it in 94, 95. So 94. Now, if you look at Earnhardt's car, you look at the doors, his doors still fold underneath the chassis, which leaves all that air space underneath that part of the car. Sterling Marlin's car went almost all the way down to the ground on the body. The chassis stayed in the same spot, but the sheet metal for the doors, the sides of the car between the wheel wells, covered that. And the front was covered too, you know, as much as the rules allowed. And that is a huge aerodynamic advantage. He also had no fender wells. You know, they were smooth. And if you noticed, in those years, early 90s, all the tires on the cars kind of went right up. You know, there was no fender bulge or nothing when they went to Daytona and Talladega. Regardless of what they ran at other tracks, yeah, they didn't run it. The rules allowed them to make, you know, those adjustments to it. And they kicked some ass. You know, as good as Earnhardt was, you know, that was a technological advantage that you just could not overcome. You know, and it's not a big deal. And then if you notice, a few years later, I think it took till 95 before Earnhardt brought a car like that to the track, Daytona or Talladega. Because those cars, they usually prepare them about 6 months in advance, especially the Daytona 500 cars. So, the good thing about RCR, and I'd say the bad thing about RCR, is they didn't change stuff too quickly. They didn't jump on trends. They kind of stuck with what they had. And they consistently gave Earnhardt really good cars, even if they weren't the best. Anybody will tell you is, you know, Earnhardt will beat you with the slower car anyway, 90% of the time. So, you know, when they went to the Monte Carlo, I believe in '95 is when you see all the cars now, Thunderbirds, all of the doors go, you know, past the chassis down as far as they can go. There's no air gap under there anymore. And, you know, that's how the cars have been. They had a height rule back then. I think it used to be 6 inches, like decades ago. What I mean by decades is like 70s, 60s, but by the 90s, I believe it was 4 inches, 4 or 4.5 inches. And, you know, that allowed the cars to stay closer to the track. They didn't wobble as much. You know, there was reasons. They also made them faster. You know, if anybody knows the story of the GT40, the GT40 is called that because they didn't want it more than 40 inches. A lot of cars were like 44, 48 inches, and you know, a smaller car goes through the air faster. Shorter one too. Okay, so we got 40 laps to go. We got 42 laps of gas because the game finally caught up with us. What are we gonna do? We can go further. We're like, I'm gonna try this. This is basically how I used to run back in the day. We'll leave that alone. And let's see if I made it too loose. Why am I restarting one? Because I made adjustments. So I don't plan to pit. If there's a caution and I really screwed the handling up, then I'll pit. But I don't plan to pit. $37, 42. We're good. Just to hedge our bet when we do gas saving. I want to shift to fourth, but nothing to really matter here. I'm on the brake a lot. That's normal on the restart there. So 3 wide. 2. That's okay. See, if you go 4 wide, they will knock the hell out of you. It is loose. That's loose. Arrow-wise, it affects the arrow too when you're loose. You move around more in traffic. Now, the reason why I wasn't, you know, I'm not really that concerned. It's because if we get a, you know, if I wreck and we get a pit stop, I figure I just add some wedge. But I gotta get out front. Differently. If I lose second, I don't drop down. I think I made it faster. Yeah, you know what's coming. Go all the way down to the yellow line. Not over it, just down to it. And there we go. Drive line. So do we hurt it or do we help it, speed-wise, let's see. Well, I think we helped it. Might have to up the wedge a click or two. Look at that. Full tank of gas, and we were up to 198 entering. So that's a mile or two. We're solidly 194 off. 196, there's the 196. So we're getting there. We are getting there. See, he was down. That's what I wanted to show you before. I was up high. I was looking at stuff. He was down low, and I didn't hit 198. I only hit 197 because I wasn't in front of him. Took up just that little bit of draft. Yeah, it feels a little bit over rotating, and you lose speed. Oh wow! When he moved up, I felt the car actually shook. I get the force feedback on, so I don't think I've ever felt that in a super speedway before. See, I'm in front of him, 198. It's too far back, and it's high. But I think we're running more 45 nines than 46 zeros at this point in the run, so net, we made a good change. I think we're too loose though, which is not a great thing. Oh, back to 198. That's interesting. They're further back. I can see it in my mirror. They're further back. So I'm actually, I probably made a really good change, but I'm too fast for them to get the help I need to get the lap times. Yeah, that's funny. See, it's slowing down, you know, because I'm not getting the help. And this guy behind me, is that Bell? Yeah, he's exiting high, which is hurting my speed. So he's staying high, and I'm not going with him. And that's another thing I noticed is sometimes these guys just, you know, usually when they go high, it means their handling is going away. But, you know, it's a super speedway. When they fixed the super speedway AI, you know, they did make them more competitive, but maybe not fixed up. Imagine if you're watching a cup race and 2 lanes, you know, coming up on turn 3 on the bottom, and one guy just goes high by himself for no reason. Goes straight to the back. But see, he stayed closer that time. We also had a good corner. Just 199. Well, whatever happens, I can't imagine a scenario where we don't win the race. But whatever happens, we definitely learned stuff. we're going to apply it once we fine tune it. In fact, when I was looking at it, you know, we're at Daytona, right? Trucks are at Iowa. That probably means that the next race will be the cup cars here at Daytona. So we can take this and we can flesh it out in the next race, which we'll know at the end of the video. I can feel it. It's just a little bit loose, just, you know, sliver. A couple clicks of wedge put back in, because I took like 4 clicks out. We put 2 back in, I should probably fix that. If we have a caution, I'll try it now, but we probably won't, so I'll experiment with it tomorrow, or the next day, whenever I get to Daytona. So we're doing very good on tire wear, if you've noticed. We loosened it up, but we're still 2% on the left and still only 1% on the right, which is curious, but that's fine. Ultimately, I'd like to get the tire temps, the right front and the right rear, to be about 20 degrees apart in the turns. So 210, 211, 212, 216, 270, 232. So we're about 2/3 to 3/4 of the way there. And if you're looking at the tire wear, the left side tires, what I really like about the setup is that's what I'd like to get the left side tire, left rear to do at all the tracks, because it's engaged, it's in the track, it's turning. Even though the tire temps are lower, you know, the heavy banking is what's turning us, and so all the work is really on the right side of a track like this, and that's fine. And you should also notice that the hottest part of all 4 tires is in the middle. So instead of having typically 2/3 of the tire touching the track at a super speedway, we only have 1/3, the middle part of the tire touching the track. You know, which makes it, you know, very light on the steering wheel. But there's less tire touching the track, so it's less rolling resistance. Always by design. The car's handling really good. Wow. So we have 29 laps of gas left, but we only have coming at 20 laps to go. Wow. Did I take a full tank? I don't think I took a full tank of gas. Or did I? 42, yeah, we have 42. I did. Wow. That's a lot of fuel mileage. And I'm running full out. Zoom, zoom, zoom. Oh, we got plenty left if we have green light checkers, which I don't expect other than that common race. Okay, so right now the right rear just went to 2% difference, which is totally fine. 4%. After 4%, then it starts to, you gotta watch your moves a little bit. You gotta watch your moves anyway. at this speed. You can easily spin yourself out by jerking the wheel too much. And if you notice, my wheel is, that you see on the screen, is doing exactly what how I'm turning the wheel. Barely at all. I'm just breathing into the turns. If it starts to drift towards the yellow line too much, I just bring it back just a tiny bit. I try to hook it a certain way off, which is all feel. It's all force feedback and feel to get the maximum speed down the backstretch here. The less you turn the wheel, the less speed you lose. Bell is really screwing up my, my data. Okay. I know what it's doing though, but it's a pain in the ass. It's going high off the turns like that. So I'm losing the draft and I'm getting back in the draft. So when he hasn't done that, when he stayed in line with me like now, see, when I got all the speed, I got the extra speed that the adjustment gave me. 199. See that? Now I might be able to, when you get too loose, see, he stayed behind me. When you get too loose, see, that just told me I might be just a little bit too loose. Because I didn't carry the 194 off the turn like I was in the tighter setups. That's a little clue there. See, I got it here. It goes high. It goes high, he goes low. I don't know what the hell he's doing. He's driving like somebody I know. Yep, you know. See, we kept it that time. He was closer. If we can get somebody to stay behind us, probably see a little bit better speed. Okay, he's closing in, so we're probably going to run down the backstretch here. We were 193, so I guess we went a little too far. I'm driving it a certain way to help that 194, seeing we're not 196. I know it don't sound like much, but trust me, from the 80s on up, a mile an hour faster. The difference between first and last, or first and not first. Somebody say, on a restrictor plate engine, if you find 2 horsepower, that's like, it could be like finding 50 horsepower at a regular track. That's huge. Again, all the little things add up. All the little things, especially on a super speedway setup, add up. Turn the wheel there. It's not hitting 199. It's probably about a half a mile slower when I hit it right. 193. It's 194 right away. It's not hitting 197. Still 46.0. Yeah, we're slow somewhere. This, last 10 laps. It's not huge. We're still faster than we were when we started the race. It's just a point. Yep, it's 199. If you see it at Twitch, that means it's like 190, 190, you know. Oh, then we had this. So we will pit. We'll put 2 clicks in it. We'll leave everything else the same. We'll be in the back. We got 14 laps to get to the front. We don't need any gas. 7 laps extra is fine. Where are we? 36. Okay, so can we do this? I think we can. A long way to get up there, isn't it? 10 laps. That's close. Get up there, Brandon. Oh! He checked up. I messed up. But screw it. Doing this, I'm on the brake more than anything. I don't want to touch anybody. Side track. Wide. I didn't have to take tires, but nobody else pitted, so it didn't matter. It's much harder to get a run because they're just a little bit faster through there. Was it 3 wide? I don't think it was 3 wide. Press the block though. I'm not looking at how many laps, I'm just concentrating. I have it set so it's harder to get up through the field. That's why I'm not sure it's just 10 laps. I've done it, took this 3 laps once, 4 laps a few times. Typically 7 to 8 laps. So 10 laps. It's pushing it. You ever play checkers? Yeah, they're actually different. I'm not used to this, but that's fine. It's a little harder. Adjustment. Hey, Morgan. I don't know what you think about Morgan, but he used to give Earnhardt a run for his money at Super Speedways, the Wood Brothers car. It's me tapping the brakes. You can hear that. Oop, that was not good. Have to make up for it here. side draft here. That's okay. I got plenty of time. Doesn't feel loose. Thank you. We're back with Bell behind us now. I went high because he went high. Well, we got stability back in it. It's hauling. Three laps to go. Thank you for sticking with me. I was bored, so I started the video early. We're under 10 laps. They should be trying to close in. Well, you know what? I must be that fast. Because, you know, I'm just thinking about it. I have not had them make one run on me the whole race. Well, that's a statement in itself. In other words, even together, they can't draft up to my bumper. They can't draft after my bumper. They can't pass me. And look at them. They're trying. I'm helping them by hitting the curb, but I'm looking at them there. Police fast. Well, it's not like they're not trying. They're trying to form a line now, but second place is too far ahead of them. I'm too far ahead of him here, okay. That's the line, but it's not going to be enough. Nailed another one. So, yes, I know, it's boring. So it'll be quick, because I'm in the lead most of the time. It'll be like 10 seconds. But, yeah, getting up through the field, we pitted. There was a caution in the first stage, and we pitted. And but this is me getting up through. I was in 6th, but I moved back a little bit into 8th. So here I'm making it back up. 2 laps. Yeah, I like this competition setting that I've been using. One of the things it does is it bunches the cars up more, and it makes it, even though they still go high too much, it makes it feel more like your league race, especially on restarts and such. There's still spots where they still move over too much, but that's what allows you to get up through the field so quickly, like you saw me do. That was the first stage. But it's harder, you know, it needs to be harder. Doesn't necessarily need to be faster. In some ways, it needs to be harder. Because, you know, it's not easy passing all in a league race. You know, you get a bunch of your buddies together and you form a line and go to the outside, yeah, well, that's one thing. But barring that, you know, it is very hard to pass, you know. I've done it. It's risky. You know, sometimes the best strategy is just, you know, stay on the bottom. Let everybody else lose their spots and just work your way towards the front and wait for the right opportunity to go. But, you know, you get a lot of people who just have no patience, so they go like every turn. And, you know, it takes you, you know, it's not just turning right and hitting the gas, you know, or gassing it up and pulling out. There's a timing to it, you know. It's like the setup. It's like all these little things can help you get an extra couple of miles an hour to give you that extra to actually, you know, make the passes successful instead of just trying, let's try it. No, if you know how to do everything and you know how to time it, you know the best spots, and you know the situation of what's going on in front of you, you can make tremendous gains. But, you know, one of the biggest issues is, you know, these guys are racing. One of the reasons why I enjoy racing like this is they hold their lines. You know, I'm not saying that, you know, you should let people go by, you know, freely and whatnot, but they hold their lines. You know, they don't block every single time. They don't door you every single time. They don't, you know, do all that skeezy shit. They race, you know. If somebody, you know, I'm leading the race, if somebody passes me, you know, at these tracks, I might look to block them, depending on the situation. But, you know, at other tracks, I'm not looking to block the guy, you know. If he's faster than me, then he deserves to win. But if he passes me, then it's my responsibility to race back past him. So, like, if it's 2 laps to go and he passes me, I had a whole other lap to get a run and pass him. And that's every other track. Super speedway racing, the way it has become, it's literally, you know, drive with your mirror. Go where he goes. Block, left, right, center, you know, but try to do it, you know, we got stages, so now it's like, oh, there's 3 opportunities where I would consider it okay to block. It's, you know, for the win or for a stage win, you know, so for a win. Any other situation, it is not cool to block, right? Also, a side draft is a side draft. It's not a side hit. It's not a door. In fact, in the game, it works much better if you don't make contact. Yeah, if you're coming to the line and you want to get aggressive like that, and the rules of your league, you know, allow you to be that aggressive, you know, that's one thing. But again, you're coming to the checker. It's not lap 2. And just because, you know, you're an egomaniac and you have to lead every lap, or you want to show that you have a bigger PP than everybody else, you got to lead every lap. You know, I have more respect for the guy that, you know, runs in second and picks his moment, you know, and he can still lead all, you know, the most laps in the race. It just, you don't have to do everything all at once. You know, racing is patience. It doesn't seem like it, but you get better results that way. Anyway, enough of my preaching. 330 grand. I'm getting there. 9 wins on the season. Damn. 2/10 off the record in a offline race, because that was in an online race. I think I got into the 44s in Heat 5, because we all got faster on Heat 5. So let's see if we minimize damage again. Come on, 80. Come on, 80. 80. You know, it was a boring race, so you think about these things. There we go. Yeah. So do we got Daytona? Yep, we got Daytona. So we're gonna win Daytona. We might win Kentucky. We should definitely finish top 10 Kentucky. New Hampshire, I don't know, maybe. Pocono? Oh, we struggled at Pocono, didn't we? But we still got a top 5. So I'm gonna go for 4 top 5s. So I know we're gonna definitely have 2. So we just have to New Hampshire or Pocono just has to fall our way. And it's 800 grand, man. Gotta go for it. So we'll have to work a little extra harder. And then there's the so we got Daytona, so we can work on the setup a little more. Looking forward to it. Well, thank you for watching this extra long version of an Xfinity race because I was bored. Thank you for keeping me company, sort of. You know what I mean. Anyway, please like, share, subscribe, comment, ask questions, and we will see you next time.